Hi. Okay. Not directed at you. Directed at me. So there's currently a big fuck off spider in my kitchen. I know it's not gonna hurt me. It's not one that can bite people. I wonder if it's one that can bite bunnies. I don't think I can get in there. Should look at that actually. Speaking of bunnies, she ate my entire basil plant. Well, that was gone. Getting groceries, which is really sad. And like majority of the fucking parsley. Damn it, I really just saw that. Like all of the rose leaves. It's a good one, girl. But I was in this morning, I went on a little bit of a roundabout trip in, what did I write down? Coming to understand how valuable my emotions are and like the emotional, like the feedback that I get from my emotions. And not just like how important it is to feel them and to validate them, but how important it is just to like give them a chance to be the solution to your problems. If that makes any sense. And like, it's like barely making any sense to me. Like if I feel like I understand what I'm saying, but for me to like feel confident in like voicing what I'm saying, sketchy. This is why I'm doing this, to kind of be like, I understand, now I have to prove my knowledge. But like essentially I've been in like a little bit of a financial dip. If that's what you can call it. My finances have been a bit interesting lately. And it's getting real heated. It's getting real. I need to start doing something about that. Which, if I have to go into it, it's just such a slippery slope of what I feel is like so much indulgence and self-blame and shame and guilt and all these icky feelings towards me and my past actions and justifications, and just like all of these unnecessary things that I like want to try and make myself feel in order to get myself to think that I could have done anything differently or I could have done anything better, and that if this is, yes, it's my fault because it's my life and most things that I do in my life are my fault. But like, I've also just needed to take a step back and be like, this is also just life. This is also just what happens. And you're not an awful person for just living. Because I was essentially living and studying. But I had a job previously, dog walking. And that ended. And I don't think I've worked. That ended in like July. And now it's been like 2 months that I haven't had a job. I've applied for some, nothing's come back, but admittedly, I wasn't doing too much to like try and get a job because I don't know, I know why, and people could judge whatever you want, but like life just happens, life just flows. I had enough money to be able to like pay rent and like ride it out for a little bit because the previous job took a little bit of a toll on like my emotional kickback, I guess. Like I finished from that job and I was like, no. And so I took about like a month of like intentionally not looking for a job. And then in the past couple weeks, it's been that little dangly thing of like, you should get a job. You should probably get a job. Your finances look a bit, you should probably get a job. But then my brain's just allowed me to be like, no, it's so good not having a job. You can sleep in and you have enough money in your savings account. You're making rent. You can live. It's fine. Until it's not fine. And now, I mean, we're in my area of not fine, which is like still okay. But like we're not in disaster mode yet. But it's cutting it close enough to where all of those awful feelings of like, you're the worst person in the entire fucking world, you absolute failure of a human being, are coming in. And I was trying to like problem solve. you know? But I don't know. I feel like a lot of my experiences with life sound so stupid because they sound emotionally ruled. Like, I feel like, and this is why I think I have difficulty like opening up or like relating to the average person, because if I tell you like I'm faced with this scenario, people just be like, okay, I'll like apply for jobs. And I did apply for 20. And then I did, and that's fine and that's great. But none of them excited me. None of them screamed yes. Like I didn't have this feeling, like the feeling inside my body was just stuck. It was just stuck and it was ruminating on this, I'm in a situation that is bad. And prior to like today and yesterday, I was just like stuck in this feeling of, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. And today I just had to like sit after doing some tarot, like I did a tarot card reading. Thank God. And I got I was asking like, what's my blockage around financial stability? And I got the Ace of Pentacles and the Five of Cups reversed. And then I just broke down into tears because I was like, oh, of course. Of course, it's just my emotions holding me back. Like, of course, because it gets really, like, people can call bullshit on this, but I believe this is how my life works. And when I believe it, when I go, like, when I follow my beliefs, my life flows beautifully. So I'm just going to say it. I'm a generator, right? And so when things are like beautifully in alignment with you, when things are exciting to you, when things are like lighting up the internal like creativity and motivation and desire within you, life goes great. But when you're kind of feeling forced into doing things for either others, or when you're not really sure of like, if you don't really have anything in your life that's inspiring you or lighting you up at the moment, you can get into these feelings of just being like, what the fuck? That's definitely where I was. And I can know, looking, like reflecting, I can understand that there was just like a certain element of myself that was just like realizing my situation and being aware of what was going on and being aware of the fact that I needed to start taking steps to like fix it or change it, but not like, it's also what I would attribute to the feeling of like an ADHD block of just like this thing of just like, I don't want that. Like, I know that I should do this and I know that I should take this action and I understand completely, but like, no. And yes, that like sounds just like stupid and stubborn. And yes, I was being stupid and stubborn, but I didn't know the resolution of that block. Turns out, like, and I feel like there's more that I could go into it, but I feel like because I don't have a full understanding of like what that story arc looks like, I feel like the more that I talk about it, the more convoluted it might sound. But if you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. So I think the last 2 months started out as I quit my job that was taking life from me. I needed a bit to recoup, needed a few weeks to recoup. I took those few weeks to recoup. But then I kind of just got swept away in the indulgence of it all. And then my birthday happened, and then blah, blah, and I kept on making excuses and excuses and excuses. And like, I just kept ignoring potential opportunities. Like I remember I was getting like, I went to get myself like a little piece of cheesecake one day, and the bakery was like advertising job positions. And I was like, oh, and like that really excited me. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And I was like, no, I won't do that. That doesn't sound like what I want. And I just turned it down. Like in my head, I was like, all right, write it off. No, like you don't want to work right now. It's fun. It's fun not working. It's fun just walking in the middle of the day to get a piece of cheesecake and not working. And that's the part of myself that I'm like annoyed at. But also I can't really get annoyed at myself for that part of me existing, because it's the part of me that loves to just feel pleasure and like enjoy life and like revel in good tasting food and like comfortable clothing and things that look pretty and little treats and little snacks and make myself feel happy and like giving myself just like little itsy bitsy things to be like, yeah, nice, over, because we all need that. God damn it, we all need it. And I'm endeavoring to not be angry at that part of myself. I'm reflecting and understanding that I need to be listening to my intuition. And I need to be taking those hints, those feathers from the universe. Because like there's like, first comes a feather, then comes the brick. I need to be listening to those feathers more and like taking into account my reality. Because that's the other thing that started coming to my it started coming to my head. Because I was like, I do need money. I need money. I need to be able to organize this shit. But then I just started like manifesting. I was like, yeah, money's going to come to me. Money's going to come to me. Money's going to come to me. I'm abundant, blah, 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 blah. But then there's this thing that I don't know if people talk about it enough, but there's like delusional manifestation and then like grounded manifestation. And I feel like it's, I don't know, for me it operates within the same realm of, also have I only just started talking about what I wanted to talk about? I don't care. 10 minutes. Hi if you're here. But delusional manifestation and grounded manifestation, which I feel like delusional manifestation comes in the form of like escapism and just being like, if I have the right attitude, then anything's possible, when you're just like denying like the fucking reality staring at you in the face of like, yeah, Annabelle, you're manifesting money, but like you're not applying for that many jobs. You're not really doing anything. None of your energy is contributing to this manifestation, but you're just deluding yourself that it is to give yourself some more time to just like fuck around, which is not cool. But because of like, I feel like the spiritual bypassiness of like when you're in like spiritual community, this is like in like spiritual knowledge and like ways of life and ways of being and stuff like that. This is when it can get kind of like shit if you don't have either yourself or somebody else outside of you to like check you and to be like, hey, I get it. You're allowed to think this, and like manifestation, law of attraction, it's real, like cool, like you're allowed to have that. But also take stock of your actual fucking situation. Like take stock of what you're actually doing. Like you can't just say something and then it happens without you doing anything or anything like that. And I feel like it's a form of self-sabotage in a way. Wow, self-sabotage is just the crux of my fucking life. Like I said, wait, did I say it in this take? Or like, I feel like I started like talking about this in another video like 2 seconds ago, but then I got way too convoluted because I lost this point. But I started to say that like, maybe it is this video. I don't know. It's a Pisces moon. I'm feeling it. That like, I'm the little pig, I'm the straw house, and I'm the big bad wolf. That's this. Like, I get it. I want a lot of money. But I fail to recognize that within me, I still had so much resistance towards working to earn money. Because, I don't know, if I want to be really compassionate towards myself, it's because when I get jobs out of desperation, they tend to drain me. And I usually only get jobs when I'm in desperate circumstances. So I put myself in this cycle of, I'm just going to take whatever I can get. And then I get this job, and then I'm in it for like 3 to 6 months, and it ends up killing any kind of light I have inside of me because it consumes my time, and then I'm wasting my energy, and then I come home drained, and my routine goes to shit, and my dopamine goes to shit, and my eating goes to shit, my life goes to shit. So then I come out of those jobs and I'm like, never again. But like, Annabelle, capitalism is awful and money's shit, but like you gotta I've gotta respect the facility that these things hold in order to function, and in order to give me myself like the life that I want. I need to like accept that this is a fundamental part of existing, is that like I do have to work to earn money. And that sounds stupid, and I get it. I understand anyone who hears me say that and thinks privilege, blah blah blah. Like I get it, but also that kind of thinking and that kind of blame and that kind of shaming and that kind of shit is what, like, I don't need to be telling myself that because I know it. I don't need people telling me that because I know it. And I feel like most people, if you're a good level-headed person, understand that. But also, can you understand that when you're like, you have enough savings in your bank account, you feel pretty stable, and you've just not you've had bad experiences at work, of course, you're going to delude yourself into thinking that you can just like ignore your problems for a little bit and just run away from them. That's where I'm at. I run away from a lot. Wow. Anyway, yeah, so I was definitely doing some just like escapism manifestations rather than doing anything in my real life to fix anything. And also, like, I just want to speak like full-blown like wee-woo. Also in my head, I'm kind of just like, yeah, I just finished my 12th house year, which is like the year of like, no. And I'm just coming to like settle into and enter into the whole like first house energized year of like, you can do stuff. And the thing is, again, if you don't believe astrology, you're going to look at me and you're going to be like, crazy bitch. But then, even if I am a crazy bitch and even if it's all placebo, somehow it's working. Somehow it's fucking working, because I think I've realized like not the stupidity, I've been using the word stupid in regards to myself very harmfully lately, and I want to stop that. But I guess I realized my delusion around the kind of manifesting and the kind of directions that I wanted my life to go in as an escapist kind of thing, and kind of just had to like set myself straight this morning. And admit to a lot of feelings of shame and failure and guilt and regret and like really awful feelings that are not like, that are just, yeah, simply they're never easy to feel. No matter how much I think I can talk myself into, you know how to deal with this, you know how to do this, it doesn't make the weight of them feel any lighter when they just crush you. It's awful. But in light of that, as soon as I like had stopped sobbing, like this feeling of me of like, I can fix this. I can do this. Like hope started to return. And I thought that like doing these like delusional manifestations was the thing that was like giving me hope and was the thing that was giving me direction and everything. But like, I was actually able to feel it. Like I wasn't just like, I feel like the manifestation stuff was just like me trying to tell myself that I was like hopeful. And that's what I mean, I guess. I was kind of relating it to when you're avoiding your emotional problems. Like when you're like, if you just have a breakup and you're like, depending on like if it's amicable or whatever it is, I've had pretty amicable ones. And they're sometimes the hardest of like, when you amicably break up with someone or like lose someone or have to grieve someone or whatever, you know that like you're going to get over it and you know that it's going to be okay. And you know that like, you know, the high road, you know the emotions to feel what's best for you, you know the light at the end of the tunnel, and at least I do. And I try to just like kind of tell myself that I'm already there rather than like walking through the entire tunnel. And I'll hold on to that light for a real fucking long time sometimes, and I'll be like, yeah, like this all happened. And it comes very hand in hand with like intellectualizing your emotions. Just being like, yeah, I know the situation. I understand why I feel this way. Yeah, of course, it's going to be natural for me to feel this way. And it's going to be natural for me to react this way. And it's going to be natural. And I can tell myself like that it's going to be natural and fine for me to feel certain ways, but I'll just never feel them. So I'll never get fully resolved in the feeling. Same thing. Same thing with the situation. I'm like, yeah, it's probably fixed. Yeah, I'm going to come into money. Yeah, I'm abundant. I create my own abundance. I'm a good worker. I'll get employed. Something will happen. Something will just like give me a bunch of money. And it was because I was internally just like projecting all of these, like, I just didn't want to have a job. So I didn't see the value of getting a job and working for money, because there was just this belief in me of just like, I don't want to. Like, it's going to take more from me than it's going to give me. I don't want to do it right now. I'm still scarred from like dealing with like a boss that just did not respect any kind of time boundaries or like effort or like equal pay, whatever. I was just reeling from that, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that to myself. It felt like more of a betrayal to start working again than it did to see it as the solution to my problems. If that made any sense? Like, that's just genuinely how I viewed it. I was like, no, by getting a job, I'm just going to make myself hate my life again. It's not going to fix any of my problems. Even though it wasn't that clear in my head, that's how I thought. And so with that being like my primary operative thing of just like, this is how I view work, this is how I view employment, of course, my little brain, to get around any one of those thoughts, is just going to like skimp around being like, manifestation, money, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just bypassing reality, which is not how you can live your life. Swear to God. Anyway, don't know if I've even said anything here, but it all, I guess, comes down to me having these beliefs around things as reactions to things, and me trying to like problem solve for myself. And then it's all well and good, but eventually like little intuitive nigglings and like pushes and things to like get you out of your comfort zone and like move you on into the next phase of life change. They start coming in, and understandably, I'm resistant to it. I'll welcome it in some aspects of my life, and that can be great, but the places that I need it the most, I'm resistant to it. And as much as I want to sit and try and like intellectualize my issue and find like ways out or find resolutions or hope for things or wish for things, a lot of the solution comes from me just like sitting with myself in silence and being like, all right, how are you feeling? And funnily enough, that's how I check in with myself for most of my life. Like if I'm in a good, stable state, I'll check in with myself, and usually the answer will be like, I'm doing great, I'm happy, great. And I'm usually so good at checking in with myself. But when shit gets bad, I stop checking in with myself and how I'm feeling, and I start checking in with like what I can do in my material realm to like what are the little just like band-aids that I can put in to like address the problem that I am aware that's happening, but I don't actually want to address how it's affecting me. And then snap, bang, boom. Once I actually address how this is making me feel, and the fact that I'm terrified about not having enough money, and the fact that I'm terrified that my security is in questioning, and the fact that I'm scared, and the fact that I blame myself all for it, and the fact that I look back on my past behavior and like just judge myself for being a ditzy little pleasure seeker, like all those feelings are really bad and judgmental. Well, not bad, they're just judgmental and harsh and awful, and they've been living inside of me for the past like month. And I'm not saying that like that's the core reason of my block, but like, because there's probably like, you can also add to that the fact that I wasn't actually like putting my 110% pussy into getting a job. I was still going out and like buying myself little pieces of cheesecake and coffee, and also other things that are just stupidly expensive that I could have just been like saving money on. I was doing a lot of like material scene things that were like contributing to my situation. But for me, in my experience of it, it all kind of boils down to me ignoring my intuitive feelings about things, and me ignoring how I was actually feeling in my everyday life, and me ignoring like how my life around me was affecting me internally and was like making me feel, because I just kind of stopped it and like compressed it and pushed it down. And I was like, I'm not feeling this way. Look at everything around me I have to be like happy about and revel in, like blah, 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 blah. Of course, I'm not gonna like run out of money. I'm manifesting. Anyway, I feel like with anything, like in terms of like trying to find a solution for anything, like whether it's an emotional problem or a physical problem or financial problem or a friend problem, whatever, I can only ever start finding the solution if I actually address where I'm at. Like if I just fully drop into the reality of like what the event, circumstance is doing to me, and like doing to my self-worth, and doing to my image of myself and my opinion of myself. And if it is anything negative, I need to admit that. There's also a process of like fear of like, oh no, if I say it, that means it's true. But like, bitch, if you're already thinking it, it means it's true. Like it means it's there. Like if anything, just speaking it releases it. Anyway, I've been bambling on for like 24, almost 25 minutes now, but if that made any sense, and if you're like in a situation where you're kind of like, things aren't so hot, but like it's fine, just admit it. Just go into in front of a mirror, or like if you don't need a mirror, like just like sit and cry. Like sometimes I feel like I need a mirror, sometimes I don't, because a mirror can be kind of confronting sometimes, and sometimes it's a confronting like, oh yeah, this is me. Sometimes you need that. But yeah, if you kind of just need to like sit with yourself and just start being like, fuck, like you don't even have to say like I am or like I'm doing this to myself, but just like allow yourself to sit with like the reality of how you're feeling as a result of your life around you at the moment. And then maybe after that and the aftermath of that, you'll be able to find some kind of like feeling of hope within you. Because what it gave me, I came out of like a good crying session being like, okay, now I've dropped down to the lowest low. I feel motivated to get a job all of a sudden. And then I got an email from a childcare place that was like, we want to interview you in a couple weeks. And this is what I mean. Like, coincidences don't fucking exist. This is why I'm so into the spiritual shit, because this shit happens. Like, this shit happens, you know? Like, I'm talking about the fact that my emotions usually think that I'm, like, morally, like, not morally, but, like, directed by. And there was a blockage, and I was denying myself. And I was, like, being, like, frivolous, and, like, being a bit, like, devil energy, like, doing too much in this, and, like, ignoring how I was feeling. And then as soon as I acknowledged how I was feeling, and as soon as I admitted, like, all the awful, gross, and ugly feelings that I was feeling towards myself, and came out of it, suddenly I had, like, more motivation and more clarity in, like, my hope and like desire to like get a job. And like then one's probably just coming to me. Like, this is why I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? This shit doesn't like coincidences. I don't know. Anyway, that's my little bone of like, this is real. And if you don't believe it, then whatever, then you're not here. Bye. I believe it. I think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because now I have a fucking appointment to go and get a job in a few weeks, probably, most likely, and working with kids. I love kids. Hopefully it pays well. But yeah, if you're feeling kind of stuck, let yourself drop into like the reality of a situation before you try to manifest anything around it. Because if you're just going to be manifesting from a place of delusion, then you're just going to be manifesting delusion. And yeah, that's it. Have a beautiful full moon in a few days. Aries, woo! It's my 8th house. Woo! Fuck! Yeah. So, good luck to everyone. It's a Pisces moon right now, so if you're feeling... I think that's also what kind of like helped me prompt into like feeling a little bit more able to drop into your emotions. So if you're seeing this as I'm filming it and you feel like you probably need to do a similar thing, take the advantage of a Pisces moon to be fully in your feelings. Yeah. Maybe if you can, like you can make some moon water. You can make moon water in any cycle of the moon, by the way. They're just like, people desire like the peaks of the cycle a bit more because it's just like more like potent, but every phase is worthy and every sign is worthy, and you can use them for different things, and I would encourage you to look into it if you feel like looking into it. But yeah, make some like moon water tonight if you like feel like it, and like maybe just drink it tomorrow and then cry your little heart out. It could work. But yeah, okay, I'm almost feeling like half an hour now. I need to go. I don't need to, but I should. Okay,